All right, we've talked a while about all the time you're going to spend in the classroom and all the work you're going to be doing there. And indeed, that is a very important part of Discovery Summer 2016. But there's also another part that we're calling the Summer Class Blast 2016. And these are some of the fun things that we do for those students who have been ambitious enough in their classes and cooperative enough to earn these experiences. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. Okay, so first of all, we have what we call our Friday incentive trips, and there are three of them that we'll be taking. The first one will be on June the 17th, at the end of this week. It'll be our shortest one, and that's the Blizzard Beach Water Park at Walt Disney World. Then on June the 24th, a week later, we go to Universal Orlando. We spend an entire day from morning until late evening there. And then you'll notice that Friday incentive trip toward the end of the summer, when we have only one more week left, becomes a 2-day trip. Friday, July the 8th and Saturday, July the 9th. That's Walt Disney World. We'll talk a little bit more about each one of these shortly. But do keep in mind that you have to have a weekly B average that's required for travel on the Friday incentive trips, except for Blizzard Beach. I'll explain why in just a minute. You can have no more than 3 tardies during the week, and you must return your permission form slip to us on the morning of the trip. And finally, you've got to have no referrals or phone calls from the teachers to our offices about behavior or about non-engagement or about lack of cooperation. That's important as well. Okay, so let's focus on the first one, which is Blizzard Beach, Friday, June the 17th. And on the screen here, you see a ride that's called Summit Plummet. This thing right up here at the top. So that's like one of the steepest water slides you can find in probably any water park. So, as I mentioned before, the grades are not considered for the Blizzard Beach water park. Okay, so we're going to be going by a school bus on 2 out of the 3 of these Friday trips. So we'll be leaving at about 9 o'clock that morning. Then when we get to Blizzard Beach, we're going to set up camp in the park itself. So you can put your book bags and stuff there. Now, you'll have a lunch coupon that provides you with a beverage, an entree, a side, and a dessert. And we'll get back to Winter Haven probably right around 5 o'clock that afternoon. So keep in mind that you need to let whoever's providing transportation for you that afternoon, that they need to be there at 5. Now this is something that we do have a problem with from time to time. You've got to make sure that your rides understand that they've got to be there within 30 minutes of the time that we say we're going to be back. By the way, you'll notice that you get up to the summit of this ride in a chairlift, like you might be accessing at a ski resort. So that's kind of cool in and of itself. But then you get to the thrills once you get off that lift. Here's the guy with the camera. Okay, the second trip, which happens on Friday, June the 24th, is Universal Orlando. Now this time, the grade does count. So in addition to being engaged and cooperative, you're going to also have to have a B average. Now we do average from Thursday of the week prior to the Friday trip, okay, Thursday through the following Wednesday. So any grades that your teachers have posted in our online grade book will be considered in determining whether you're entitled to go on the trip. We'll leave at about 8:30 that morning via school bus from the Winter Haven campus. You will have a Park Hopper ticket for Universal. This ticket will allow you to go from Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, and you can keep doing that as often as you like. Do keep in mind that the Harry Potter rides are in both of those parks and connected with a train, so that Park Hopper Pass allows you to experience that train, which is pretty cool for those of you who haven't done that attraction yet. There will be no breakfast provided, so make sure you eat before you get here. However, you're going to be given a plastic meal card, and this meal card will allow you to have one lunch and one dinner. I'm sorry, some of you old timers who've been in the program for a while know that Universal used to have an all-you-can-eat meal ticket. They did not have that for this year, so do keep in mind, even though it's a plastic card, it's only 2 meals. If you think you're going to require more than those 2 meals, I suggest strongly that you bring a little extra money with you. We will leave Universal at 10 p.m., which means we'll get back to the Winter Haven campus that evening at about 11, and on a Jeep type vehicle, and you have an encounter with King Kong. Now I'm going to show you a video that just gives you an indication of what the audio animatronic robot, in other words, of King Kong looks like toward the end of the attraction, but there are lots of other tense, scary moments as well. Oops, sorry about that. I guess I need to press play. Now, I don't mean to get ugly about this, but I do have to caution you that if you're not a team player during a trip that takes place over just one night, then I'm going to make the assumption right then and there that you're probably not going to travel well on a trip that takes 4 days and 3 nights. So please, please, please make sure that we have your fullest cooperation here. I mean, you have late curfews, the parks are open late, and so forth, so there should be no reason to defy some of the expectations we have. Okay, now the first day, which is Friday, July the 8th, is a little more structured than the second day, and here's why. We will first of all be leaving at 6:30 a.m. from the Winter Haven campus because you have a class to attend at about 8 o'clock at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now remember, we're looking at tardies, attendance, because so everybody has to go to Animal Kingdom, because once we go to that class and everybody has to do that, this is where you have to stay. The class is going to end at 11:30. All right, so everybody will be getting hungry by then, I would imagine, and so you are going to be given meal coupons for on Friday for both lunch and dinner, and on Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right, so those are 5 coupons you're going to have to keep up with. All right, so you will have your lunch in Animal Kingdom. There are quite a few restaurants, some actually which are quite good, that those are good at. All right, and so they work similar to the way they worked at Blizzard Beach, which is also a Disney property. Then probably at 1 or 1:30, I'm going to ask you to report back to the bus at the Animal Kingdom parking lot. And by the way, that bus will be a charter bus. I'm not expecting you to carry luggage over on a school bus, so we will be traveling via Annette Bus Lines. So you're going to report to the bus, and we're going to travel over to Pop Century Resort, which is a Disney hotel where we're staying. Now, once we get back to Pop Century, it's probably going to be hot. You're going to be kind of tired. I suggest taking a couple hours to rest. Maybe you take a swim in one of the 4 or 5 pools. I think the Hippy Dippy pool is their feature pool. And you will take a Disney bus back to Animal Kingdom. Hopefully you and your travel group will have already made reservations for some rides in the evening at Animal Kingdom. Make sure that includes a nighttime light show. All right. Okay, now on Saturday, here's what I suggest. uh, you will have stayed up late the night before. You don't have to be out of your hotel room until 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Okay, so this is the kind of the yucky part of the trip, because checkout is 11 a.m. We will stash your luggage at the hotel. You cannot, let me repeat, you cannot access your luggage after you turn it back in at the hotel for them to store it for the rest of the evening until we leave. All right. So my suggestion is that morning go over to Pop Century's food court. This is a picture of it before it's open. That's the reason there's nobody sitting there. So there are quite a few places you can choose to eat in that food court. All right. And then after you've got your luggage stashed away, you should have by now made reservations with your travel buddies for whatever park it is you'd like to visit on Saturday. So you would either select the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, or Disney's Hollywood Studios. All right. And made your Fast Pass Plus reservations on whatever park you're going to stay at. So you have a ticket that's good for 2 parks, but it's not good for park hopping. So once you go into the park, that's where. Now, got one more video for you, and this one has to do with Expedition Everest, to give some of you who are a little nervous about riding roller coasters a way to make a decision as to whether or not you want to experience the Expedition Everest roller coaster during your trip to Animal Kingdom. So Expedition Everest, the whole story behind this is that you're on this trip, hoping to encounter the abominable snowman, also known as the Yeti. So this is the very beginning of the ride. So you're going through this temple here as you're approaching Everest, and then the roller coaster in just a minute is going to speed up just a little bit, and this is the first fairly minor thrill of the roller coaster. Because once you get to the top, it's going to speed up a bit, and then you're going to notice that the abominable snowman did a horrible thing. He ripped your coaster track apart. So what are you going to do? Okay, about the only option that you have is to go backwards. And that's exactly what happens. So we won't spoil the surprise of the rest of the ride for those of you who are brave enough to ride it, but it is one of my favorites at Walt Disney World, along with Tower of Terror, as far as the thrill rides are concerned. Okay, so now we get into the big trip. The big trip is going to be a combination trip to Charleston, South Carolina, and then we have a one-day excursion to Myrtle Beach, which is about an hour and a half away from Charleston. So we will be leaving very early on Monday, August the 1st. It takes, probably it's going to take about 7 hours to get there. The other meals for the rest of the trip are going to be provided by the money that we, from the Upper Bound budget, have given you. So it's going to be cash money. And so if you, and it's going to be good for lunch and dinner. Breakfasts are available at the hotels we're staying at. So I strongly suggest that you put aside at least a good portion of your stipends that you'll get before this trip to sort of supplement the money that you have to eat that we're giving you, because college does put a restriction on the amount that you can get. So we'll be staying at the Hampton Inn, which is right. First of all, this top upper right hand picture is an aerial view of a good portion of the peninsula city known as Charleston. And then within Charleston, we will be staying in a converted historic building that is called the Hampton Inn. So this is where we'll be checking in to begin with, and you'll be spending both Monday and Tuesday nights there. So we have 2 things scheduled that afternoon and evening. You'll have a little bit of time to spend with your own student touring groups to sort of tour the city in the evening and grab a bite to eat for dinner and so forth. We will walk from the hotel. It's not that long a walk at all. We'll walk from the hotel to where the Charleston Harbor Cruise boat is located. And on the way, we will pass by the Emmanuel AME Church. So those of you, most of you can probably remember on the news about the 9 members of that church who were killed by Dylan, and I can't remember his last name, Roof, I believe it was. Now that's coming back to me. Okay, so he killed 9 individuals at a Bible study meeting. So I will point that church out to you before on our way to the Harbor Cruise. Then you'll have, as I said, a couple of extra hours on your own, and then we'll meet so that we can make it back for the Charleston Ghost and Graveyard Tour. So that will kind of end our evening, though you'll have a little bit of time on your own after the graveyard tour is over. I've scheduled the latest one so we can get the spookiest effects that night. Darkness will have already settled in. Now, on August the 2nd, which is a Tuesday, we have a couple of things that we will be doing. We will start late morning with a College of Charleston tour, and a very small portion of the campus of the College of Charleston, which is located right in the town. In fact, it's just a couple of blocks from our hotel. We will tour that and also have an info session. Then you'll be given some time to have some lunch. Then we're going to drive over to west of the Ashley River toward a town called Somerville to visit Drayton Hall. There is a lot of tribute with Drayton Hall in terms of not only Charleston history but also slavery, the treatment of slaves, also contributions of slaves to Charleston culture, and so forth. Then we will go, after this tour, we'll probably go back to the hotel for a short period of time before we drive on up to Northwoods Mall, where you can do a little bit of shopping and also get you some dinner at the food court. Okay, then on August the 3rd, we will have one final taste of Charleston in late morning. We will board the bus with your luggage, and we will have a gentleman who will step on the bus and tell our driver where he's going, both in Charleston and also on the Sea Islands off the coast of Charleston. Now, I put this picture here because of the fact that you're seeing some baskets here that are called sweetgrass baskets. Sweetgrass is a native plant that grows in the marshes of Charleston. And it's becoming endangered, actually, so there's a little of it left. But we have a few individuals whose ancestors were slaves, and this skill was handed down to them. So the woman here in the straw hat to the right, she is the person who creates these baskets. In fact, you see that she is working on one in her lap right there. Okay, so after that African American History Tour and Gullah Tour, taking a look at Gullah culture as well as the Gullah language, we then take the hour-and-a-half journey to Myrtle Beach. When we get there, we will check into this hotel in the upper left-hand corner, which is a Spring-Made Beach Resort. It is right on the beach, and it's my understanding that every room faces the beach. So you will have a couple of hours once we get there to spend some time in your room, in the pool, on the beach, if you so desire, as long as you are in your small groups. Then that evening, as the sun begins to set, we will take you up to Ocean Boulevard at the section of Myrtle Beach which is known as the Strip. Then we are leaving on August the 4th. So you will eat breakfast at the Spring-Made Beach Resort. By the way, this is an example of the kind of room you'll be staying in. You will notice the view of the beach there. So you'll need to get your breakfast at Spring-Made probably by about 8:30, 8:45, because you need to have your luggage on the bus by 9:30. We will stop on our way back to Florida for a fast food lunch using the cash that we've given you. And then we are anticipated arriving at Winter Haven campus by 6 p.m. Again, have your transportation waiting for you when you get there.